Oh, hi everyone. Thank you for patiently waiting. Hi. We had a bit of a quick discussion there with uh, Kevin. Oh, give me a moment. It looks like, yeah. So I hope we're live. Are we live? Can people comment, please? I just got a notification saying that we are. Yeah, let's have a look here. Can someone comment? Are we live? Yeah, I think we got cut off from a few groups here. But anyway, I'm gonna give you a chance to jump in. So, kumusta po ang lahat? Today, we're gonna be talking a little bit in English today. I'll be interpreting some of the things. I will be speaking in Taglish, but our special guest, he's born in Canada. So you will mainly hear him talking in English. He can understand Tagalog, so that's fine. But yeah, we'll entertain your questions, your comments anyway. Just type them in. I'm very excited because today I think is a day of hope. It's a day of hope because we will witness a story unfold before us, a story of challenge that later on ended in quite the success. So for that, I'm very, very hopeful. I'm happy to share this with you. So let's just give some people a chance to jump in. Yes. So put in your comments, say hello. Hi, Marlon is here. Hi, Marlon. Hello, I'm doing well. Good day. Yeah, and who else is here? Michelle. Hi, good morning, Michelle from YouTube. Yes, and Elizabeth is also here from YouTube. Yeah. So again, guys, our special guest, he is a Filipino Canadian. So he was born here. Unfortunately, he won't be able to speak to you in Tagalog, but he can understand you nonetheless. And yeah, he's happy to be here. Yeah, yes, this is him, Kevin. Okay, so just a bit of a background. Again, if you're new to my channel, if you're watching this from Global TV, kumusta po? Ito po si Dr. Iris. I'm from the Filipino Success Movement. Our platform is all about encouraging people to level up. It's a community of people who want to level up, right? To make to reach for like higher heights in terms of different aspects of life. There's physical, so you see our videos about exercising and low carb eating, proper nutrition. You see our videos about mental health, so mental skill set building, mindset, success mindset. You see our videos about emotional leveling up, so communication, relationships, and finally spirituality, kindness, compassion. And that's why I'm so excited to have this guest because he seems to encompass all these different aspects. We're going to talk a little bit about spirituality, a bit about business. So the marriage of these different aspects, this young man perfectly embodies. So I'm going to share with you his story today. Okay, so without further ado, let me bring on Mr. Kevin Padillo or Padillo or however he pronounces it. Kevin, hello. Kevin, can you hear us?
Hey,
Hi. So,
hello
Kevin,
everyone.
yes, thanks for making the time. I know you're quite busy. Where are you right now, Kevin?
I'm in New York City.
Oh, you're still there. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's from Canada too, but currently he's in the US. Are you there? Are you just like transitioning? Did you move there?
Yeah, I did move there. This is my new home.
Oh, it is. Yeah. It's it's so nice to have you here, Kevin. Thanks for making the time. I think it's a little bit more decent there, right? It's 9 a.m.
Yeah, it's 9 a.m. now. Yeah.
Yeah, your Eastern Standard Time. So people are saying hi to you, Kevin. A few people here. Yes, they say, oh, so we have viewers here from San Mateo Rizal. Hello. Thank you for tuning in, Miss or Mr. MJ Reyes. Anna Ferrer is
Hello.
here. They're saying good evening, Kevin. And Marlon is saying hello, Sir Kevin. Yes,
Hello.
Joyce and
Hi.
Bessie Barty is also here. And we have Ron Antenero. Oh, so I hope this is a man. Yeah, I hope you get inspired by the story of Kevin. So hope we have more male viewers. We have Digonto Gomez. Yeah. Yes.
Hey, George.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to join us later, George, you're welcome to. Maybe when we talk a little bit about sales, right? Ronaldin is also here. Hello, Sir Kevin, she's saying. And we
Hello,
have
everyone.
Angie Pashon. Yeah, so good evening to both of us. So yes, thanks for jumping in, guys. So sa mga hindi pa po if you missed the intro, we're just starting out, you can always watch the replay. The replay will be posted in YouTube. Okay, and Wenson Sam is also here. Good evening. Mirna
Hey,
is
Winston.
also here. Yeah, so perfect. So now and Arlene, hello. Hi, Doc Iris and Mr. Kevin. Okay, so we have a number of entrepreneurs here in the group, Kevin, and I think they want to learn from you, right? You're
Wow.
Kevin, if you don't mind me asking, how young are you?
I'm 26 years old on Earth.
Oh, wow. Look at that, guys. Isn't that amazing? He's 26. He's so focused on what he needs to do and wants to do. And he has really transitioned really well. So, Kevin, let's start off with a bit of, your journey. Let's start off with your journey. I'm just going to pull up, just to show people what we're going to talk about here. We'll talk a bit about these things. We're going to talk about spirituality, your mission, and sales and how it's playing a role in your life. So, I guess give us a bit of a background, Kevin. Give us a bit of a background about what happened to you, what brought you to these things that you're doing right now.
Yeah, so I have my testimony here today. I owe it all up to Christ, and I'm, my story has a very long journey. How far do you want to go? Where do you want me to start here?
Well, we have lots of time, Kevin. We have 50 minutes, so go for it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so hey, my story started off. I was a young man. I grew up in Calgary, Alberta. I had very loving parents. They love me until till this day. They love me in their own way. And I grew up in a church. And every day, my dad would prepare to lead the church. He was a pastor. No, he wasn't a pastor. He was a deacon. And from a young man, I would watch him stand up on stage or on the pulpit, praying over the congregation, leading the congregation. And I would always look up and I'd be like, wow, my dad's a leader. Like, he's a great speaker. I want to be just like him. And I was very inspired by him every day. Every like 2 days a week, we'd go to church, but he would be so busy. He'd be so busy in his life. He wouldn't have any time to hang out with me. I would want to spend time with him, but he'd be so busy. And because of that, I've always wanted his love and I always wanted his attention. My mom was very supportive of me, but I wanted that male strength. But as he led the church, the only time I ever seemed like I ever got his love was when he was angry. When he was angry, or when he was, it was very rare. So as time would tell, I looked to other people for that male, attention, that love, that companionship. And I looked to other guys because I wanted that father figure. And I trusted some people. I trusted the other men in my church. And I trusted people, but there was this one person that I trusted. And, I thought it was okay. And I experienced some sexual abuse because of him. And he would do things, and I thought it would be okay because of that. And that's what I thought it was all right to be loved. But now I know, look back, and it was evil. And as time would tell, I got away from that. That was not okay. And, going through that abuse, it kind of scared me. And I was super confused. But as I grew up, I had a big confusion in my life of, where do I get love? Where can I get my father's attention? And I found this in a gang. I found it in a gang. I found it in, some guys that got into trouble. Some older guys than me who would like, hey, if you hung out with us, you would be cool. We would want to take care of you. You would be part of a brotherhood. you'd be a part of a crew. And we did things that were, evil. First, it was breaking into lockers. I went to school. We used to just smoke weed. It was very small. And then it eventually grew up to, doing robberies, and we sold drugs. And I ended up in prison from 2019 or 2009 until in and out of jail for the next 5 years. Yeah, I think 5 years on and off. And, as part of a crew, I was part of a gang, and we did evil things. I represented them, but it was during a gang war, and people were dying. People were getting shot. And the crew was starting to break up during my time in jail. Those guys that I used to call my brothers, that I would fight for if anyone said anything wrong, they all forgot about me. When I was doing my time in there, I was doing a 3.5-year bit for a home invasion. And I'm very sorry for what happened. And after that, all these guys just forgot about me. And but I managed to, 360 my life in there. 360 my life. I got my high school education. I went to university. Now God's leading me in more righteous ways to go help people today. So, long story
Wow,
short.
that was so amazing. Kevin, people are saying here, and I think it's one with what I'm saying. Oh, just a bit of a technicality, Kevin. Can you angle it so your face doesn't get covered by the live stream? Yes, there it is, so they
Okay.
can see you. Maybe, yeah,
Better?
that's it. Yeah, just these things here. Yeah. So the people, I think, are echoing what I'm thinking. They're saying. So here, Ethel is saying, so courageous for a man to share his vulnerability. Kudos to you, brother Kevin. Respect to you. So I
Thank you.
think I think that's very important, guys. Kevin summarized it in very few words there, but he gave us very, very important concepts. And I think this is what Mila Flor is saying here. Thank you for this. Na-realize ko agad ngayon time namin para sa anak namin. Because some of the people here are young parents. Some of them are older parents. But, those concepts that you talked about, Kevin, it's true, right? Your parents, they will love you. The love will always be there. But every person speaks a different love language. And mostly for children, it's time. Time is what they want, right? It's their love language. If you speak that language, give them the time, they will feel the love, right? But most of the time, we as parents, like I'm a parent, and so as you said, like he would only kind of pay attention to you when he would get angry. But usually that anger is mainly worry. When they worry about you because you do something, they're worried, that's caring, but it comes out as not a great sign, right? Because it's going to be, oh, what did you do, right? And
Right.
so, and that story about being in prison, that's so powerful. I think that when you reach depths like that, right, and your story of seeking it elsewhere, that love, and the story of abuse, wow, that's so powerful to go through that. There's a lot of layers that go with trauma, and I deal a lot
Right.
with trauma in my work. Childhood trauma, the effects of it in later life, like what you did. You went with a gang, and seeking that love, the brotherhood. But then when the beep hits the fan, right, everyone leaves, right? And so you find yourself there in prison, and your brothers are gone. But good for you. How did you transition? Like, I know, okay, you realized that in prison you were there, and you're saying they're gone. But how did you actually transition and say, I'm going to get myself a degree, I'm going to go to university? What made it happen for you, Kevin?
To me, it's God. God used me, and He leads me, and He sometimes uses other people in my life to show me things. And during that time, I was doing, I was almost done my time I was maybe my second year in. I was on a unit. It was a behavior security unit, and I was working with a psychologist. And I was getting into a bunch of fights. Then I had a lot to prove. I was very brave. I would snap at one person who said something wrong, and I would get into a fight. And I was working with a psychologist, and we would work on anger and understanding where anger comes from and what's up and all these thoughts that were in my head. And he challenged me a bit, and he showed me the impacts of gangs. We watched a movie. It's called Made in America, and it's a documentary on the Bloods and the Crips in California. And he told me that, hey, we showed me there's one part in the movie where, hey, there's all these gangsters with guns, they're shooting each other. It looks cool at first. All these guys, they look cool. They're getting all this fear and attention. There's one part where there was mothers on a screen, and they were crying. And they were just crying. It would just be a film where they'd be crying, and then on the bottom is the names of their sons. So the names of their sons was at the bottom of the screen, and this says when they died. And it said 18, 19, 15, 16, like all these names, and mothers. And I seen my mother there, and I was scared. And I was like, what is going on? Do I want this? So piece by piece, it was like being chipped away. I didn't want that for my life. There was a gang war going around in Calgary. I was spending time in jail. No one cared about me. No one would answer my phone calls. Only one or two friends. No one would write me letters. It's like they only cared when I was around. And I asked myself, hey, like, is this what I want in my life? Is this what I want? So yeah, from then I made a decision, like I got to clean up my life.
Wow, I think that's a great kind of like realization, and the way that it happened to you. Actually, recently, Kevin, I had a similar experience. You know, the opioid crisis that's happening here, right, in Canada,
Yeah.
because a lot of youth are turning to drugs. The pandemic has really shifted life for a lot of people, and so they turn to street drugs. And I see these mothers, of people who have lost, like of the kids. They've lost their kids, and so they're standing there holding like the pictures, the posters, the pictures, and the names. It really breaks my heart because I'm a mother to a son, right? To a son, to a young boy. And so it really like broke my heart to see that, and it makes me realize the more that I need to do my work, because I deal with trauma and young kids, and the adverse effects of, because trauma can come in different forms. It can be like very subtle, right, like psychological abuse. It can be
Right.
big, like sexual abuse. It can be physical abuse, but it comes in different forms. However, the effects are kind of in the same pathway. So all the
Yeah.
more that I need to do my work. And this is what I'm actually doing here in Filipino Success Movement. I bring on, for example, people like you who share your experiences so people can learn that there's hope. So you're being here today. Again, God is using you, right? Because it's a testimony to hope. So, some people here are saying, Kevin, Sir Kevin, can you share practical tips how to eliminate the anger? Some therapy tips po. Because it looks like you did learn a few things there. They're interested because I think that this is a common thing people go through. So maybe some practical tips, Kevin, on how you were able to address that anger that was just, like pushing you to do those things.
I think for me, one is like understanding that underneath anger is something deeper. There's always something under anger. That anger is like a secondary, but there's actually sadness or fear, pain, trauma, grief, shame under anger. And it shows up like when I'm angry, I'm actually not really angry. I'm actually just sad. But I think anger is okay. Uh, so that's the first part. I'm like, I understand, hey, there's something underneath. If I'm angry, there's something I'm underneath that I'm not looking at, that I'm not looking, taking care of. I also share, hey, deep breathing. I really like, I like to use deep breathing to help ground me. Yeah, just like taking some deep breaths out of my belly.
There's actually a big science behind that, Kevin. I don't know if I've shared with you, but I practice mindfulness. And really, the science behind deep breathing is it activates the calmer arm of your nervous system. So there are two arms. There's one that's the sympathetic, it makes your heart race, it makes you, it's more like the adrenaline, right? Part of
Yeah.
it, the fight flight part. And then there is the rest and digest. And when you're deep breathing, what happens is it activates that center. So you become more grounded, you're able to pause. And like what you said, you're able to evaluate just what exactly is underneath that anger, right? That's beautiful what you said right there. So, guys, for you who are like needing to learn about this or who have anger issues, and we're not judging you, no one's judging here. The first step is really realization, and it's great that you're here and you can learn from someone like Kevin who's been through it like firsthand, and hopefully apply what you learn from here. I have here Miss Ethel. She's saying, I'm a single mom to a son too. It's hard to teach a boy or to be a model to him. The first lesson should be not to be angry to his absentee father, who he has never seen. The rest is to leave to God. So, Miss Ethel, this is
Mm.
great insight. And hopefully, I don't know how old your son is, but if you can show this video to him, it'll be very helpful. So that right from the get go, he can understand from someone similar. Because here's Kevin, he's a young man, right? And he's been through it. And it is okay to talk about it, to talk about wanting some love, right? Needing that attention. But most kids cannot verbalize it. And especially Kevin, our culture, right? The Filipino culture, we're not very, you were born here in Canada, but a lot of Filipino young, especially males, born in the Philippines, they're not going to talk. It's not our culture to talk about feelings. So
No.
hopefully, guys, you with young kids here, or even you who are having like issues with your young kids, can maybe show this video to them and really like make it okay to talk about feelings, right? I just want to greet some people here. So Lynn Lunt is watching from Germany. Hi, Lynn. Thank you for being here. And Ronaldin is saying, such a heartwarming story. So glad of your transition, Sir Kevin. And
Thank you.
Veronica is saying, learn from a mistake. Alona is here. Hello, Alona. Hopefully, guys, these are mainly females. If you can share this with your male, like your boyfriends, right? Like your husbands. Many times, men will not talk about these things, right? They just let it run, like deep and kind of like keep it undercover. But this is the reason why also sometimes husbands, they tend to be temperamental, right? Or moody, brooding. It's because there's something here, right? And so, guys, if you know of someone, it can be even your fathers, right? Fathers, cousins, brothers. I'm definitely going to share this with my male relatives because it's important to talk about feelings and to find ways, right? Yeah. So a lot of other people are here, so touching
I'd like to
story.
address like one of the comments as well. I want to address. There's who is
Sure.
that comment about her absent like father with the
Oh
son?
yeah, this Ethel. Yeah. Go ahead,
I
Kevin.
I want to address that at the Ethel because I know like I can really relate. And as I read this, I'm aware of like just some compassion, some sadness coming up because I know what it's like. That's me. I used to have anger. I still do sometimes with my father. Uh, but I know the Bible teaches us to forgive. You know, Jesus forgave people that wanted to kill him. People were killing him, were actually punishing him, whipping him. And as he was carrying a cross, he says, hey, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. So that's something to learn. Like, how can I forgive? Like, how can I really forgive someone? Forgive my father? Maybe, you know, like Maybe he was taught the same thing growing up. Maybe he experienced the same thing. Uh, Maybe his grandparents was the same thing, and so he was doing it, and generational over time, it just carries on. So how can I forgive him, and also how can I forgive myself? To know that, like, hey, it's just me. It's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong. To know that there's nothing wrong with me. That it's maybe just something he's gone through, and having compassion. And I started really getting this when I prayed. When I prayed to him, I got on my knees and I said, I'm sorry. And it taught me, like, hey, how can I forgive my father? He's just a man just like me. Um, Imagine being like him, a father, and I had a son. Maybe if I had a son right now, I'd be scared. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be like, what is going on? I'm like, I got to pay for my son. I wouldn't know what's happening. And I'm just thinking, like, yeah, like, imagine if I was a father and how would I feel? I wouldn't be a perfect father. I would
No
never
one's
be a perfect
perfect.
father.
Yeah, nobody can
Yeah.
ever be perfect. And those are very powerful insights that you gave us, Kevin. First of all, you talked about, and this is something that I also talk about a lot. It's great that you have this ability to actually tap into the root cause, which is it can be intergenerational, right? Your realization that what he's doing right now can be trickling from what his father before him did, from his grandfather before him did. That's the way he knows how to show his love, right? And so, you reaching that kind of ability to recognize that it's beyond his control. He just thought that that was normal. So it gets passed on generation after generation, right? And then, praying as an avenue to allow you to forgive when you raise your concerns up to him and you realize, you know what, like Jesus was able to forgive all those people who hurt him. And here I
Yeah.
am. And also to forgive yourself. That's so powerful, Kevin. I think people here are touched. Let me just pull up. Give me a moment. I think I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. Sorry. There we go. So,
Bless
Ronaldin,
you.
thank you. I have a 5-year-old and I always want him to express his feelings. And also, I see to it to always express my feelings towards anything that he does. That's great, Ronaldin. Encourage communication, encourage him to talk, right? Because when you talk, then you don't bury emotions beneath, right? Annifer is saying, forgive and forget for better. And Marlon is saying, yes, for praying. God is always there for us. Noella is agreeing. And Angie is saying, when Jesus is with you, you can forgive because God is love. That's very good.
Yeah.
Melvin is saying, pagsuko hindi dapat pinapasok sa isipan ang pagbitaw sa pangarap, isang malaking pagkakamali. So what, in essence, I don't know if you completely got that, Kevin, but what he's saying is you shouldn't give up. And that, when we give up on our dreams, it's a big mistake. Ethel is replying. She said her son is 12 years old. So yeah, perfect time. So hopefully, Miss Ethel, after this, you can apply, right? Here in FSM, we always try to apply what we've learned. So maybe today you needed to be
Uh,
here to hear Kevin's story so that you can apply this in your own life. Sorry, I'm having my sniffles.
I would
Okay.
encourage you, Sister Ethel, to bring your son around strong men, like not men that are sitting around on their phone all day, but bring her around manly men that do manly things, that go hunt and go fish and go lift weights or do things that are masculine, because that is what a young man always wants.
Great advice. So hopefully, Miss Ethel, you have someone like that in your life, maybe a brother, a cousin, a friend, or even
Uh,
maybe a community member, maybe a fellow church goer who who like embodies these things. Or even ask your son to follow Kevin. By the way, guys, show Kevin some love. Follow him Instagram. So
yes.
Instagram, he's Leadz. We will put your we're gonna put your, let me just put on here what was your name in Instagram. So Lead Gen CEO. Okay, so Lead Gen CEO. We'll put his links as well. Kevin also has a Facebook, And later on, we'll be talking about business. So maybe some of you can, yeah, if your particular situation is something that Kevin can help you with, then reach out to him. Okay. So, but please do share this video because I think this is so powerful. Like the learning here we're getting from Kevin is pure gold. I think even diamond, right, Kevin? So seldom that you see men able to talk about their feelings, become vulnerable, and really like tell us like how he's going very deep, right, guys? It's deep. It's primary emotions. So this is so powerful. Okay, so Kevin, we're gonna go now to how you eventually found your mission. So we talked a bit
Yeah.
about how spirituality allowed you to kind of just get over that area of your life. So guys, for you who are late jumping in, we talked about spirituality first, and now we're gonna talk about Kevin's mission. Okay, so Kevin, tell us a bit about how you came across this mission of yours. What is it, and how'd you come across it?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So a mission, mission. I'm starting to understand. It comes. I used to think it's all about me. Maybe this is gonna be a very different way to see it than you, Iris. Uh, I'm scared because I know maybe you're not fully a believer yet. But I just want to share that um, it's God's mission for me. Myself is I'm very little in the world. I'm nothing. God is using me as a vessel. So what I used to think is, hey, it's what do I want to do in the world? What is my purpose? What is my goals? What is my achievement? It was all about me, like my flesh, my body, my arm. It was just all about me. Like, hey, what do I want? I was very selfish. What do I want? But it doesn't really matter because I think of how can God use me as a tool for him. And I really thought about it. As a young man, I always wanted to be a soldier. I always wanted to be a police officer, a soldier. I loved war. I loved battle. I loved leadership. I loved like teams. I just loved warfare. And I would always want to carry like toy guns and like shoot guns and stuff. And as I grew up, got older, I went to all these groups, leadership groups, men's groups, spirituality groups, and I was searching. And I went to a men's group, and it was a conference, and I learned something about my mission. And mission comes from pain, by the way. Mission comes from pain. So your purpose comes from a pain that you have in your life. Just like Martin Luther King. Look at Oprah, who's been through a lot of sexual abuse in her life. Her mission came from a lot of the abuse she came in her life. She's very empowered now. So from that, my pain was, hey, my father was unavailable. I wanted to be a leader like him. So now as I grow up, I discovered my mission that, hey, I want to help. I want to be a leader myself. I want to help others be leaders. I also want to step into conflict and danger. There was always fighting in my house. There's always arguments, fighting. Like I know what it's like to, to feel my father's beat. Like my father, like they used to beat the heck out of me, and so I was accustomed to conflict. So I'm not afraid of conflict, and I guess now I'm really understanding. Like I want to step into danger. So fast forward to now. I'm understanding what this means to me, and so I became like I started boxing, doing Muay Thai, MMA for a couple of years because it's like I learned how to fight, I learned how to use my hands and defend myself, but I also want to defend people that don't have a lot of strength. I think I'm discovering my purpose of wanting to protect people as a protector. A part of a man that wants to protect others and defend people and make people feel safe. So I know I have a marketing company now, but one of my goals is to create a security or a defense company. I was gonna join the army. I tried joining the army twice actually, but I got
Oh,
denied.
wow.
Maybe that's God's will. But
Yeah.
I want to create some sort of company that protects people, like maybe a security guard company or or some sort of force that goes and helps people. One of them is to rescue kids that are victims of child pedophilia or trafficking. Um, and there's a show that I once watched where this guy he would go into dangerous countries where these kids were kidnapped, and they would hold them in like Asia, Honduras, Philippines. My goal is to go and rescue these children, go into danger with a team, like a commando team, and go and rescue these children from these evil people, and want to bring them to safety. Uh, and yeah, that's what I'm creating now. Long story
Wow,
short.
that's so powerful. So if there's any takeaway here, guys, it's beautiful what Kevin said about
Yeah.
it starting out with yourself first. Many times we start out with thinking about ourselves first. Intentions tend to be selfish first. But as we move along, we realize we're just really here to be called to do something else, right? Like in Kevin's case. And
Yes.
Kevin, we're actually very similar. My like the work that I'm doing now is also very faith based, and
Yes.
like
Amen.
one of the pillars, right, of the FSM is even spirituality as well, in different forms. It doesn't have to be, because a lot of people will think it's secular, it belongs to just the one religion, but in reality it's the essence of the spirit. So whatever religion you practice, but if you are being called, you're here for a mission, and all of us are. It's varying degrees, different fields. Even your mission to be, for example, a mother that
Yeah.
rears, or a father that rears a child. You don't have to do things like Kevin put up companies, right? It doesn't have to be. Every person is different, so don't feel bad if you're not a CEO like Kevin. Maybe that staying home and nurturing that child, maybe that's already big enough mission, because that child will go on like what Kevin's mother, right? Like she was there for him, and look
Yeah.
at it now. Like the trickle effect is she has this son who's now doing these things in the world, and he won't be able to do that if
Yeah.
also she wasn't there for him, right? And so, guys, it's important to realize that it goes beyond us. It's beyond us. It is a calling. It is a purpose. It's not just, okay, what do I want to do, but how am I being used as an instrument? As an instrument, you're
Yeah.
given specific set of talents, right? Specific set. It won't be found in any other person. You may look like another person. You may even have a twin, but even twins will have different callings because they have specific set of characteristics, and those things
Yes.
are what they will use now to uh, be able to do their mission in the world. So there are a few comments here, Kevin. Let's have a look. They're saying, "Nakakaiyak, I miss my father." Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, tatay. Yeah, a lot of us, like it really pulls at your heartstrings, Kevin. You've pulled at a few heartstrings here today. Yeah, when Jesus is with you, you can forgive. Oh, yeah, I pulled it up already. We have the ability to finally stop the so called generational trauma. That's beautiful,
Yes.
Ronaldin. Generational trauma. You're so right. I actually even talk about this in my book. I wrote a book, and Kevin, I talked about this, the
Nice.
intergenerational aspects of trauma and how it affects our modern lives. So if you guys are interested, it's on Amazon. You can just search my name. It's Meaningful Success Principles, and I talk about this concept. Thanks for raising that, Ronaldin.
I
And
love that book.
Sonia,
Where can I buy
yeah.
it?
Oh, Amazon, Kevin. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Sir Kevin, for sharing your amazing and inspiring story. God bless you. Oh no, he doesn't have a son. Sorry, the son is mine. I have a son. Kevin is single, right? Kevin, you're still single right now.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
almost had a son, but yeah, that's another story. I almost had.
Okay. Yes, and Elizabeth is saying God is good even into people na minsan ay naliligaw ang landas. Yeah. Ethel saying great advice, sir. Thank you po. Yes, and people are saying follow. Okay, Ronaldin is putting here Kevin's Instagram account. So if you guys want to take a screenshot, it's right here. So Lead Gen CEO. And so there's his, and you can also find him. Kevin, you don't have a page, right? In Facebook, it's still a personal account.
I
You
do.
don't have.
I do have a business page. It's,
Oh, okay. Maybe send the link to me because we're gonna post that with this video. We're gonna post your links. Please, guys, give him some love and follow him. Okay. What is this? I think, yeah, this is still the Instagram. So Elizabeth is saying something here. As early as possible, show your family love to by giving your time. Ulila na ako mula pa grade 5 but I'm not allowing myself to be angry or make sisi sa nangyari sa akin. Prayers po talaga tsaka pakikipag-usap kay Lord. Tsaka kahit na makasalanan tayo, God is only waiting for us to seek Him in whatever situation
yeah.
we're going to take. There is always a reason in every particular scenario. Very good insight, Elizabeth. Thank you for sharing that. And Milliflor, I really believe a mission comes from pain, right? A great tidbit
Yeah.
from Kevin. It comes from
I'm
pain.
prepared.
Something that happened to you, right? Your test is your testimony. Your mess is your message, right? Oh, here's my
Amen.
tita. Amen. My tita is saying, God is good. He can transform from bad to good. Amen.
Yes.
And yeah, it's so true. Learn from your personal experience. Nagalit ako sa tatay ko kasi nagkaroon siya ng anak sa iba. Pero nung namatay siya, na-realize niya, nagkamali siya. Sana napakita ko na mahal ko siya. As Kevin is saying, no one's perfect, right? Even if we, right? Like we can never be perfect. So if your parents have done something to you, again, it's probably just lack of awareness. They don't mean to do it on purpose. Underneath is still the love, but it's just coming from all these generations of how to behave, right? And so they probably like didn't know how to behave properly, right? And so, but they don't for sure mean to hurt you. That's for sure, right, Kevin? Like your dad never meant to hurt you. It's just he couldn't really just express himself, perhaps, right? Because that's what he was used to. And
Yeah,
just
that's
about
what. It's probably not intentional. Like, yeah, not intentional.
yes, not intentional. Everything happened for a reason. Oh, and even that, Marlon, thank you for sharing that, the one with your dad. Even that, right? It's not intentional. Sometimes these affairs happen because people are maybe bored or lonely, but it doesn't mean that they, want to replace you, right? The family. Everything happened for a reason, good and bad experiences. Everything is a blessing from God. God bless us all. God bless you as well, Miss Jessie Beth. Yeah.
Man.
And Marlon saying, kaya naiyak ako sa kwento ni Sir. Di na niya naman kami pinabayaan. Tama po, nagkamali lang po siya. Yeah. And Tita Mayat, He's God to save us from sins and died for us to have us eternal and no more condemnation on our behalf. Yeah.
Amen.
So, amen.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So, very, very powerful learnings. So, Miss Grace is, I think, also emotionally affected, right? So, and here, Landry, good evening, everyone. Thank you for sharing your story, Sir Kevin. Watching from Taiwan. Oh, hello. So, to our friends in Asia, our friends in Europe, I know you're all tuning in from different parts of the world, wherever you are. Hoping that this story here today, the testimony that Kevin is giving us, can really help you in an aspect of your life. Okay. And Lisa is saying, very inspiring. Thank you. Okay, so now, Kevin, we're going to move on to our next bit here, which is so we just finished, guys. Talked about spirituality, how that helped transition Kevin into his mission. And now, finally, Kevin, we're going to talk about the other part of your mission, how you're helping people. So, there are a few entrepreneurs in the group. And so, and I think this is something that offers a lot of hope again in this time of pandemic when people are like, what else can I do? Many people have lost their jobs, right? And I think this is one of those topics that many people have misconceptions about, but you and I love sales, right? Sales. So tell us a bit
10x.
about sales, 10x. Yeah, so sales. Tell us a bit about this, Kevin, and how how this ties in with your company and your business. Because you're head of a company, right? So, guys, if you didn't know, he's a president of a company. So, tell us a bit about this, Kevin.
Yeah, sure. I'm the founder of Leads on Demand. So just like the shirt says right here, What we do is people hire our team to make calls for them or send messages for them and book them meetings. So that's what we do. I think God blessed me with the strength of sales and communication. So I've yeah, one of the things that I'm great at is helping people with sales and selling more. So uh, that's what we're doing now. Like her.
I think we lost Kevin. But so for people who if you follow his accounts, you will see that the business side. Oh, sorry, Kevin, we lost you there for a bit. I was just recapping what you were saying. So if you follow his accounts, you'll see that part of his work there. So he is a CEO of this company where that's what they're doing. They're, as his shirt said, they help businesses to get leads, or leads in other terms, customers or clients. So if
Right.
you are coming across this as an entrepreneur, right, and you're in maybe in the US, Kevin, are you serving other countries for now, or are you mainly concentrating on US, Canada? I think I lost Kevin.
No way. Someone's.
Kevin, you still there? So anyway, guys, we'll wait for him to jump in. Kevin, you're getting choppy.
Hello.
Yeah, we're here. Yes,
Better?
yeah, better.
Okay,
I
perfect.
think it's
Yeah,
just
so
sometimes it glitches. Yeah. So I was
yeah,
asking if you were serving clients outside of US and Canada.
yeah, worldwide.
Oh, wow, nice. So our viewers in, if you're a business owner and you're in, obviously sales is a big part of your, um, a big part of your operation, like the like makeup of your company, right? Without sales, there are no clients, there's no business. And so if
Yeah.
you are in, if you're needing a service like Kevin's, so people to help generate, or are you doing lead generation or mainly booking appointments for?
We do both. So people hire our team to make calls for them or book them meetings for them. So yeah.
Okay. So to get the calls, fill your day sheet with the calls and then book meetings for you. Okay. So if you're in that kind of business needing that kind of service, reach out to Kevin. Okay. And so, yeah, was here. We're actively promoting fellow Filipinos, so fellow entrepreneurs. I don't get anything from this. Like our Kevin's and mine collaboration. This is purely like really to help serve. We don't exchange monetary, we don't, he doesn't pay me, I don't pay him, right, Kevin? We're just
We should all
collaborating.
everyone here should PayPal you $50 right now.
Really?
Everyone should
Yeah.
PayPal you.
No, we don't. All that we do here is really like free. If you do your part, the money will always come, right? So we don't. It's just, yeah, right. Like we do our service for free. So
Yeah.
I think that again, uh, every person will have different kind of aspects in their lives, and like what you shared, right, Kevin? If you look at him and you don't know his backstory, so guys, check out his Instagram right now. You'd think, oh, this is a guy who like, wow, so confident, right? Like you feel like he doesn't he hasn't gone through anything difficult. But what he's shown us today is exactly like the opposite, right? That from that strength actually comes from pain. It comes from challenge, right? Look at his profile, guys. I'm gonna pull up mine. If you look at it, you'd see, oh wow, look at him. He's so polished, right? He's so like so put together, so confident. And then he's the last person you'll think. I mean, look at him, guys. So powerful, right? It's the last thing you'll
Oh my
think is
God.
this guy has gone through this. And so it's a testament of hope. So for you who are having troubled sons, troubled daughters, troubled kids, and you kind of are losing hope for them, make them watch this video. Okay. And
100%. Yeah.
show them what's possible through a story like Kevin's. Imagine being in prison. Kevin, how did that feel like? Not to, because I'm really curious. How did that feel like being in prison? How how was that?
Yeah, so it was the Young Offender Center. So it's a little different from adult, but it's, I don't know, where you're locked in your room almost 16 to 23 and a half hours a day. You're locked in a room and you wear blue, you walk on the right side of the hallway, and yeah, I don't know, there's fights all the time. There's the food is okay.
Well, that was in
I don't
Canada,
know.
Kevin, right? That was
There's
in
lots of time to
Canada.
work out as well. Like if you want to do some push-ups, there's lots of time to work out. I know you go to the gym, Iris. I seen you.
Yeah, I do. But that's a good take on it. That to even see that positive side of it, right? That you can work out there. But the thing is, some of the people like in the Philippines not going to be as lucky. That youth offender center, that's more like Canada. It's well maintained. In the Philippines, if you can imagine, there's a lot of, right? It's very disadvantaged. So not a great place. And so if we can save our youth from going in, that's our mission, right? And so, and also, really like, I'm really like inspired by your mission, Kevin, to later on help these young abused kids, the victims of trafficking, all these things. The children are the hope of our future.
Yeah.
It's these children, right? They're going to grow up to be adults. So if we can provide them, provide them with a chance to make something, to follow their, to tap into their callings as well, then we'll have a better place to live in, right? And so to save them from abuse, from being in prison later on, that's our goal. And so that's why, Kevin, I think your testimony is so powerful because then they'll look up and they'll see it's possible to do a 360, right? Like what you've done. So
I
I'm just
agree.
made.
I agree. I think I just want to add to that. I know you want to finish up this video. I just want to respect your time, but I know it's important that the young, especially the young men, are holding a banner of righteousness out here because we're going from the world is going away from the goodness of righteousness. It's going towards evil. Some of us young guys are listening to rap music talking about shooting and drugs and women. Some of us are trying to. It's okay to smoke weed now. It's okay to do drugs. It's okay to drink alcohol. That's what the world is teaching us. This is not the world. It's actually the devil that's behind this, all of this. And whether you believe it or not, there's a spiritual warfare that's going on in the world. There's a spiritual war that we're fighting, that the enemy sneaks in, that tries to take our lives. There's young men dying almost every day in gang violence or from alcohol. You go on East Hastings, you'll see dead people, people walking around dead on the sidewalk. Zombies because they're hit by the drugs. So I just really want to encourage, especially young men, to go defend, to strengthen, put on the armor of God because we're fighting a battle and we need to rescue our families from this. Before it's too late, before God comes down here and destroys everything. So, it's time to get right with God, to be honest. That's what I got to say.
Powerful, very powerful. Put on the armor, right, of righteousness, the armor of goodness, because you're right, Kevin.
God.
We're seeing it. It's in our pop culture, it's in our movies, our music, it's what's popular right now. What's trending is always the things that look dangerous, that look
Yeah,
like, they make you look cool. And it's
yeah,
not cool anymore to profess your faith. And I think when you do
no,
change that, right? When you see here a confident young person, successful, able to create a business like this, and then he advocates for spirituality, for goodness, righteousness, I think that's very powerful. So it is possible to be all these things, to be cool and to be kind and compassionate, to be spiritual, right? It is okay. It's okay. You don't have to do other crazy stuff, right? You don't need your guns to look cool, right? Or
no.
to hurt other people. So that's very powerful. So guys, let's just pull up our last few comments and then we'll wrap this up. Yes, sir, your story is very inspiring, said Noella. Sabi ni Ethel, you're so phenomenal, sir. May you write a book about this. So, Kevin, here's something for you. She's asking you to write a book. There you go.
We'll see.
Maybe a project in the future, right? And Marge is saying, truth, a lot of vices are being normalized nowadays, which is really not good and it's really a threat to a lot
Yeah,
of young people's future. I love the word that you use, Miss Marge. Yes, it's being normalized. You're right. And that's what Kevin is saying. It's a
yeah,
spiritual warfare because it's kind of like making us realize that yeah, that's normal, but it's actually not, right? And
no,
so, yeah, so I think we're gonna wrap up here. Again, the links are all here. So I think Ronaldin posted all the links. So again, Instagram, you have a YouTube as well, Kevin, right? And
yeah, yeah, not as big as yours, but yeah, lead gen CEO.
yeah, Lead Gen CEO and Ronaldin, I think I need to stock your accounts, or I need some tips regarding sales. Yeah, go for it, right?
Go ahead.
People who are Yeah, so people who are wanting some info on sales, Kevin is pretty good at it, obviously, right? So, and people are just thanking you. They're saying, "Maraming salamat, Sir Kevin. Yes, follow na yan. Yes, yes, sir." Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. So, everyone, if you missed this, I salute your bravery and deep thoughts and spirituality. Okay, so she said a very nice thing here, Kevin. So,
Thank you.
she salutes your bravery. Yeah, okay. So, everyone, if you missed the beginning part, it'll be on YouTube. We'll shorten this clip. We'll be sharing it. Kevin, you share it as well, okay, to your
Yes.
audience. And yeah, and we'll be collaborating with Kevin still moving forward. You never know, you may see him in our leadership summit. So, stay tuned, okay?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kevin may be guesting there, right? Kevin, are you up for it? If we do our leadership summit, you're gonna come, right? We'll be one of our speakers.
I'll bribe you to get in.
That's
So
so nice. Okay, all right, guys. So that's it. Apply what you learned. He gave you so many like diamond tips here. So many things that are very deep, right? Normally, when we have our guests, it's very inspirational, but we don't, the depth of today's session is really kind of like what we call in medicine, it's like root cause, right? Root cause. So
mm,
thank you for that, Kevin. Okay, bye everyone. Kevin, last words.
yeah, God's coming back, so seek Him before the enemy takes your life. Yes. God bless you all.
Powerful. So seek him. Okay. Okay, bye for
Yes.
now, everyone. Bye.
All right. See you.